Hello, my name is Erica, and today I'm going to be reacting to a short documentary about Frank Zappa, which was interviewing, I guess, George Duke and Napoleon Murphy Brock. I know who George Duke is because he's a pianist, but the only reason I knew that is that when I was in music school, there was this jazz area, whatever. There was like these jazz posters on the wall, and they had like Thelonious Monk and then like George Duke like posters, and I'd be like, oh, I wonder who Thelonious Monk is. That's an interesting name. And so I looked it up. But that was like a long time ago. It was like 20 years ago. Anyway, these are my Yoshi dolls. This was a tipped request, and this is the list I go off of, which comes from a form that people fill out. So I'm gonna react to this. I'm gonna talk, I'll just like say what I think. I may like eat this atomic fireball because I really like them. What's your guys' guilty pleasure? Like, is it a candy or like a soda or like something? I just like to have, I don't know. These are really spicy. So anyway, let's watch this together and learn something about Frank Zappa, who I've reacted to a few of his songs, by the way. So they're on my playlist called Frank Zappa Reactions, and then you can find it there, or if you just search under my channel for Frank Zappa, you'll find them. At the end of the video, I'll show you guys how to put in a request if you stick around. Okay, bye.
Frank was wide open musically. He loved everything, and he loved music that didn't quite go together. He would force it to go together.
Cool.
I mean, he would take the most beautiful melody, with an orchestra or something, and throw a wrench in it. That was who Frank was. And sometimes it used to drive me crazy. I said, Frank, this is too beautiful. You can't mess it up. It needs to be messed up. And that was his whole thing. And I learned something from that.
Call it by name. Gotta call one today when you get off the train.
Frank said, you should play synthesizers. And I said, I don't want to play synthesizers. And Frank says, right to my face, he said, you take yourself too seriously and you don't invest in yourself enough. Frank detested the mere word of being heavy musically, because he was heavy musically.
Hold it! Oh, God, we're coming together.
I play Bach chorale, and, I wanted to play Mozart or some jazz, I wanted to be heavy, And as I said before, he detested the word heavy. So, but anyway, he says, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to buy you a synthesizer, and I'm going to put it on your keyboard, and whenever you feel like messing with it, he says, you may bump it every now and then, it'll make a sound, and then, I'll just leave it there. And so he left it there, and occasionally I would start, I would come in before rehearsal, and it would make a noise, and then I would push it in, and I don't want to play that thing.
We're going to go directly into another song which has to do with the delicate subject of flying saucers and information pertaining to the origins thereof previously withheld from the American public. And I'm saying simply this: the song should have been entitled It Was Only Swamp Gas, but it's really called The Inca Roads. And it goes like this.
I said, I can't do this, Frank. So he put it there one day, and then he had Ian set up a little sound for me. And I started playing, and I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. And you could bend notes. You could bend notes. I'm a piano player. You can't bend notes. I can bend notes. I can be like Johnny Guitar Watson, or I can play the blues on a synthesizer. I said, that's it. was sitting down at the keyboards, and he says, "Well, I need you to sing this note." And I said, "I don't sing." And he says, "George, we need you to sing this note. Can you sing?" I said, "Yes, I can do that." He said, "All you got to do is da, hit that note." You know, when I cue, he cued da. I said, "Okay, I can do that." And that's how it started. It became more and more and more. And eventually, I was doing "Did a vehicle come somewhere rather just to land in the Andes? Was it running? Did it have a motor? Or was it something different?" It ran into that.
Did a vehicle come from somewhere out there? Just to land in the Andes. Was it round? Did it have a motor? Or was it something different?
Shows Python do this that. Why don't you say Russian? I like good. That white ain't do nothing.
Did a vehicle fly along the mountains and find a place to park itself? Park itself. Bargain. Or did someone build a place to leave a space for such a thing to land?
Man, I was totally in it. And this band that I was in, I think his best band, man, that band could play anything. And I go back nowadays listen to that music, and I don't know how in the world we did it. It's just amazing to me. We instinctively knew what Frank wanted. He would go like, and we knew exactly what to do, and Frank just loved it. And not only that, I gotta tell you one other thing. He was totally underrated as a guitarist. Totally.
I was playing in Hawaii, dance music, and Frank came to the club, and he says, "You're my new lead vocalist." And I said, "How could I possibly sing for you if I've never heard your music?" I said, "But just for the hell of it, who's in your band?" And he says, "Well, George Duke and Jean-Luc Ponty." I said, "Whoa, George Duke, Jean-Luc Ponty, the French violinist, and George Duke, the jazz piano player, they're in your band?" And he says, "Yeah." I said, "Well, you must be pretty good. Your music must be pretty damn good because they're the best."
I guess I can be in it then.
And I said, "Well, I'll tell you what, here's my card. When do you come back from Europe?" "November, give me a call." He says, "Well, you come for an audition?" I says, "Yeah, sure, I'll come for an audition." He says, "Okay, here's the deal. You come for an audition, you don't have to sing.
Oh.
You listen to the band. If you like it, you're automatically in the band. You don't even have to sing a note."
That's a nice
I
audition.
said, "Okay, well, that makes it much easier because I don't know your music, and it would be rather difficult." And that's how it happened. I went to Los Angeles when he returned. I listened to the band, and I saw my destiny.
Oh, and flute.
I came there to meet George Duke. That's what I wanted to do. I said, here's an opportunity I've never had in my life to meet the guy that my idol. And I just wanted to meet him. But when I heard the music, I mean, I mean, can you say orgasm on the microphone? It was like an orgasm, the best I ever had in my life.
That's funny. So good. Wow, that was so good. Wow. I learned a lot because I don't know if I really realized that George Duke was actually in the band. I think people might have mentioned that in like a comment, like, oh, that is George Duke in that moment. But I didn't, I thought maybe he was like a special guest or something. Like, I don't think I like internalized that like George Duke was like in Frank Zappa's band. Like, I hadn't like thought of that like fully because, yeah, of course, George Duke's extremely famous jazz pianist. So that's really cool. And it's cool that he was just like, let's be innovative. Let's just like, try this synthesizer. Like, oh, why don't you just try singing? It's like, I can't sing. It's like, yeah, you can. Just try. I like that because a lot of people are like, oh, I can't do this. I can't do that. No, I can't. I can't. If you always just say no, you're never, like, you're never going to do anything. And if you're so afraid of rules and stuff, then you're never going to make anything new. So I really appreciate that philosophically. I feel the same way that you just have to be willing to take risks and like, maybe it'll be bad, but you have to try it. You should try it once and be like, okay, that was sucked, but you should at least try it. So many people are afraid to even like make a mistake, but you can't be afraid. You just have to try it and then, okay, trial and error. Let's make it better next time. Okay, well, that was really cool. I learned a lot and I got to hear like sampling of little music. And I think that was the Ruth percussionist person that they were talking about. So I got to see her in this briefly. She was only like shown in a few clips, but I had watched Inca Roads already, so it sounded very familiar to me. Okay, well, let's mark this off my list. So it's right here. When I complete it, I mark it green. And I'm just going down by the timestamps because the requests come in by timestamp. And I just go in order mainly. I only go out of order if someone requests the same band like 5 times in a row, I might go off of it because I don't want to like just publish like 5 reactions of the same band in a row because it's not good for like, like people like my channel for different artists and I don't want to just like only have one artist, right? So that's the only reason I'll kind of diverge if like there's not a natural diversity in the requests. But this looks like a very natural diversity of what I see on the list. Very weird. Like I see Yes, I see Tool, Eve of Destruction, Barry Maguire. There's like a lot of crazy stuff on here that has nothing to do with each other. Another Zappa, Bonnie Raitt. So this is going to be a very eclectic tip list over here. And yes, if you would like to make a tip and a request, go to my request form, fill it out. These are where you can tip if you want, optional. And then if you do tip, please put in the reference so that I can reference the two together. I'm like, oh, that tip went with that. And then I'm like, okay. So sometimes you just send a tip and don't tell me what it's for. I don't know what you're requesting. And vice versa. If you just put in a request but don't tell me that you tipped me, then I don't think you tipped me. So please tell me. Because the names don't always match, like your YouTube username or your anonymous name, and then like the name that I get the donation from, which I always keep anonymous, by the way. Like I don't ever share. So it's anonymous if you do donate. I don't want to, I only call people out if they want to be called out. Like, please tell that, Anyway, so that's it. And please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next reaction. Bye.